Hello everyone, this is a Clausing 8540 mil that I purchased, and I'm in the process of getting things working on it. Everything worked, it's just the arbor. Somebody had just pretty much destroyed the arbor, original arbor that was with it. You can see the threads are missing. I don't know why, but they put vice grips and everything else on this part. They smacked the end of it, if I can get it to focus. They smacked the end of it with a hammer. You can see right here. So it's pretty well beat up. I've been contemplating maybe putting this in the lathe and truing it up, and just going and turning the threads off and making a custom nut just the next size down. Putting a sleeve over this, but that's another project. What I wanted to talk about is I purchased a new one, and I'm not even sure how you say the name of it. Bakier Baker? I don't know. But it's made in Italy. And it seems like a pretty nice one. But the only thing is, this is 5/8, and this is 23/32, 7188. And you can see this one. And that means that bushing's too small. Now, I was just going to buy a new bushing and put in there, which I still might. But what I decided to do is I decided to experiment and just see if I couldn't punch that out. So I put a 23/32 drill bit in there. I've taken a honing stone and dulled it, so it's not very sharp, so hopefully it won't grab. And I'm going to run it through there, put some oil in there, run it through there, and I'm thinking it's going to cut it about 1 or 2 thousandths too small. And then I'll just put an arbor in there with some sandpaper wrapped around it and run in and out till I get it. What I did to align it is I just simply tighten these down. And then I put this on here, and then I tightened it down. So I let everything relax where it wanted to go. Then I put the vise on, clamped the vise, let the vise go where it wanted to go, and then clamped the vise down. So now it's in a relaxed state, and I loosened this back up right here. So now when I move my crank handle, it'll slide that in and out on the rods. And the hope is I'll be able to drill that to size, and it'll be perfectly lined up because it's at a relaxed, or it's at its state where it would be when you clamped on this. So everything should be perfectly parallel in theory. And if anybody's wondering, this is actually, you can see how much longer it is, because I was kind of worried it wasn't going to work, but it will work. But you absolutely cannot go any longer than this, because these here, when I put this in here, these are actually going to be slid up inside the casting about 1/4 of an inch. So I would not go any longer. But if you're looking to get one of these, I'll go ahead and give you the length of this one. And you know, as long as you stay as long as or shorter than this one, you'll be good. So the overall length is about 16 1/4. Yeah, about 16 1/4. So I would not go any longer overall length than 16 1/4. To the nut would be about 10 1/4. Or at least to the start of the threads. From here to there. I figured I'd just add this because it might help somebody in the future try to figure out what will work. If you have one of these and you don't have the original, which I'm not sure this is original, but it seems like it works. It is from there to the back of the threads would be 8 1/4. Well, no, we'll get another 8, say 8 3/8. overall length would be about 14 1/8 or so. Yeah, 14 1/8. Kind of hard to see it on the camera. Can't get the right angle. There, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing about 14 1/8 when I eyeball it. From there out. So anyways, let's fire this thing up and see what the heck happens. Figure out where I stuck the oil. Like the toil and oil. And another thing I was wondering too, I was wondering if the grooves, there's oil grooves cut in here. I was wondering if they would stay in there. Because I was trying to decide if I wanted to buy one with grooves in it and then bore it out, or one without grooves. Obviously, if I buy one with grooves and bore it out, if the grooves aren't left, there ain't no sense in doing that. Alright, now, let's see what happens. I want to tighten this up. And I want to snug this one down just to make sure there's not much play. And let's move this so it doesn't vibrate off. And let's see what happens, people. Turn it nice and slow, trying to keep an even feed. That's definitely a bronze bushing. I can tell by the color of the chips. Now, I wouldn't try this unless you plan on replacing the bushing. I plan on replacing the bushing, so it doesn't matter if it fails. If it matters if it fails, I wouldn't try it. Because really, I'm kind of using the drill bit as a ream, but I didn't check it to see what size it actually drilled bronze at. So I might have had to grind some off the flute to make it actually the right size. It may blow it over, I don't know. But my experience with bronze in the past has been normally it cuts 3,000 or 4,000 smaller than the reamers I've used, but normally the reamers have been dull. So, and this is pretty well a brand new drill bit, so we're going to see what happens here in a second, I guess, because we are through. Barely any room to spare. I actually had to cut the shank off of that drill bit because it had flats on it, and the flats would not allow it to chuck in the collet correctly. It had 3 flats on it for the drill. Alright, let's come out of here and see what happens. Well, the grooves are still there, so that's good. So that showed me that I can buy one with grooves in it. A 5/8 one, bore it out, and the grooves will still be there. So I did learn that. All right. Let's find my tools. I got to take this clamp here out of the way. I don't have any studs for this thing yet, so I had to kind of finagle something, bolts and everything else to work. Hammer of truth coming up. Alright, where to do with my new one. Drum roll. Oh, I mean, that thing is perfect. Look at that. Save myself the aggravation of buying a new bushing. So, if you're going to try this, like I said, don't try it if you can't afford to fail. I could afford to fail because I was going to buy a new bushing anyways. But like I said, I dogged the drill bit. I took a honing stone and just made everything so it wasn't sharp on the cutting edge, and then kind of put a little bit of a radius on the corner and went down here a little bit. Just made it so it wasn't sharp. And that seems to have done the trick. So now I have a working arbor. I'll go ahead and put that arbor in and set it in place just so you fellas can see how far that length of an arbor sticks out. Just to help somebody if they ever buy one of these without an arbor. So like I said, so they don't know how long of an arbor. But anyways, that works. So before you buy a new bushing, if you run into this, give it a try. Like I said, just put this on, put these on, tighten these down first. Let this thing, slide it back and forth and let it relax, and then tighten this down real tight. Put your vise on, clamp your vise onto this with this still tight, everything's still tight. Bolt your vise, and then move your table back and forth until you get it lined up on the slots. Put your bolts in. Then loosen this back up, and then that allows that to slide on your ram or rams. So anyways, let me get this arbor in here and give you a look at that, and we'll end the video. Alright, so you can see I got that arbor on there, and I don't know if I can get you fellas, but you can see it's counterboard and then the bore for the ram start. It's in, you can't quite see it, it's in 3/8 of an inch. Can't quite get you the angle, well maybe there. If I can, but it'd been better if that had been 3/8 of an inch shorter and I'd have had full contact, but the clamp's way up here. So where am I? The back of my rod's right about here. So I'm still getting full clamp on this. Shorter would have been better. I mean, this may cause me problems, I don't know. I'll just have to try it, but I can shorten it up if need be. But I'm going to try it where it is right now. So, as you can see, if I can do this one-handed, perfect fit. You can see how they fall too. I mean, everything as close as I can get it. So now we got a really good, true running arbor. And we made our bushing fit. What's funny is that hole must not have been quite right, or the grooves wasn't right in that bushing, because the very one side of the hole, the grooves disappeared, but they still lead to the oil hole, so they're still going to help oil get around there, which I'm fine with. I got to put my cup back on there, but let me get you here. You can see it's running pretty true. A little bit of vibration, but that's because it's not supported. Boy, glare just bites me. But anyways, we'll try that out and see how that works. Like I said, I got lucky on that because that is like a perfect fit for that. I didn't measure it, but don't need to. I can tell it's like a really good fit. There's no play at all. Actually, you can see the oil squeezing when I put it on there. But yeah, so if you got another arbor and it's the 23/32 one, or is that 21/32? 21/32, isn't it? Did I tell you fellas wrong? I can't remember. 0.7188, whatever the heck that is. Before you get a new bushing, try drilling it. What do you got to lose? Anyways, thanks for watching.